The cameras were rolling, the crowd restless, and tension filled the air like a storm waiting to break. Senator John Kennedy had just stepped into the room when Congressman Adam Schiff leaned toward security and gave an order that would send shockwaves across the hall. "Remove him now," gasps echoed from the audience. For a moment, it seemed like a powerful man had silenced another's voice. But what happened next would leave everyone stunned. John Kennedy didn't resist. He didn't raise his voice or call out the injustice, though everyone knew it was wrong. Instead, he calmly stood his ground as security approached. His eyes weren't filled with anger, they were filled with quiet strength, the kind of resolve that comes from knowing you stand on truth, not theatrics. The guards hesitated. After all, this was a United States senator, a man beloved in his home state for his candor, his humor, and his down-to-earth way of speaking truth to power. The room buzzed with murmurs, some defending Schiff's decision, others whispering that this was an abuse of authority. As the guards reached for him, Kennedy raised his hand and spoke, not to Schiff, not to the guards, but to the audience and cameras capturing every second. His voice was steady, tinged with Southern grit, and it carried more power than any order Schiff could give. "You can drag me out of here if you want," Kennedy said, his eyes sweeping across the crowd, "but you can't drag out the truth. And the truth is, Americans deserve leaders who listen to them, not leaders who silence the people they disagree with." The room fell silent. Even the guards paused, unsure whether to obey Schiff or acknowledge the gravity of Kennedy's words. Schiff, visibly unsettled, leaned forward and barked again, "Security, remove him." But the hesitation in the guards' eyes told another story. They weren't sure this was right. Kennedy took a step forward, not toward Schiff, but toward the center of the room. "I didn't come here to fight," he continued. "I came here to remind everyone of something simple. This country was built on disagreement, say on men and women who didn't see eye to eye, but still believed in free speech. If we can't stand disagreement in this room, how can we expect to survive as a nation?" The crowd began to stir. Some clapped, others stood, and soon a wave of applause rolled through the hall. Schiff's face tightened, realizing the moment was slipping from his grasp. Kennedy hadn't raised his voice, hadn't insulted anyone, but he had turned what was meant to be an act of humiliation into a triumph of principle. The guards stepped back, unwilling to lay hands on him. Schiff sat back in his chair, his authority challenged not by force, but by the undeniable power of conviction. Kennedy then told a story that struck the room like a lightning bolt. He recalled his father, a small-town man who worked long hours and believed in honesty above all else. "My daddy used to say, son, you can lose an argument, but don't you ever lose your integrity. That's what's at stake here. Not me, not Adam Schiff, but whether integrity has a place left in American politics." The applause swelled again, this time louder, more unified. Some who had come into the room skeptical of Kennedy now found themselves nodding, even tearing up at the raw sincerity of his words. Schiff, realizing he had overplayed his hand, could do nothing but sit in silence as Kennedy finished. Finally, Kennedy stepped back, gave a slight bow of respect to the audience, and said, "I'll leave if you want me to, but I won't ever stop speaking the truth." By now, nobody wanted him to leave. The guards turned and walked away, signaling the end of Schiff's failed attempt. The crowd gave Kennedy a standing ovation. Later that night, clips of the confrontation went viral. People didn't just see a political squabble, they saw a man stand with dignity against a system that too often rewards arrogance over honesty. Kennedy's refusal to be silenced without anger or insult became a symbol of courage. Even many who didn't agree with his politics admitted one thing: his integrity was unshakable. The inspiring message was clear: strength isn't about shouting the loudest or wielding authority, it's about standing firm in truth, even when others try to silence you. Schiff had tried to remove Kennedy, but instead, Kennedy had removed the doubt in the hearts of those who wondered if leaders with courage still existed. And in that moment, John Kennedy didn't just defend himself, he defended every American's right to be heard.